Ben Crump, who's representing the Patrick Lyoya family, is renewing the call for federal police reform.
He did this during a news conference yesterday in Grand Rapids, and 13 on your side's Carla Byron is in the newsroom with a deeper dive into what that reform could look like. Carla.
Val, Nate, I talked with a Chicago-based attorney, Antonio Romanucci, who has worked with Crump to achieve state and federal police reform. Together, they wrote the white paper, which lays out what they call comprehensive police reform with the goal of removing the bad apples.
Had the officer known to de-escalate that all he had to do was disengage from Patrick prior to them wrestling on the ground, this would not have happened.
Chicago-based attorney Antonio Romanucci and Ben Crump wrote the white paper. In it, they recommend the adoption of many factors to achieve federal police reform, including the decertification of police officers accused of misconduct on or off duty, licensing of police officers, a common curriculum and de-escalation training, and eliminating qualified immunity.
Once you can certify police officers and then be able to take away that certification once they become one of the bad apples, you will automatically improve policing, restore community trust, and you won't have these incidents such as in Patrick or Amir or George, or we can name all the first names that you want to, where they have to run or get away from police officers because they can't trust them.
The two attorneys also played a pivotal role in trying to get the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act passed. The proposed federal legislation would have increased accountability for law enforcement misconduct and restricted the use of certain policing practices. The act passed in the House in March 2021, but failed in the Senate.
We have to wonder if and when our president will maybe sign some executive orders bringing some of the agreed pieces of the George Floyd Police Reform Act into actual, orders. So we're always hopeful for that possibility also.
Romanucci says he can't divulge whether or not he's had any conversation with the White House or its staff. He adds he won't give up on the quest to present the white paper to anyone who will listen.
Even though the George Floyd case is finished, it's over, it's complete, our work will never be done.
Romanucci says there hasn't been significant police or civil rights reform in the U.S. in about 60 years.